Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Flagrant 2 podcast. This week, Bryce Ward is out, so we have again one half of the Balls in Our Court podcast, Kevin Carter. What's up, Kevin?
What's up? Oh, your second favorite white boy. I think,
Look, Bryce is my little white buddy, so you're going to be my tall white buddy.
or older white
Oh, yeah,
buddy.
yeah, tall and
That's
older
what
white
most.
buddy.
That's what most people call me anyway, is older white buddy.
What's been going on, my man?
Not much. Just got up this Easter morning. Happy Easter to everybody. And yeah, it's beautiful outside today. Going to have the family over a little later, do some eating. So yeah, it should be a good day.
It's going to be a great day. Someone who didn't have a great week was Stephen A. Smith, where he had Nino Westbrook and Russell Westbrook fire some shots at him after he made some critical comments on that monster triple double that Russell Westbrook had. It was an amazing triple double, but Stephen A. wanted to say that at this point in Westbrook's career, stats don't matter. And then the Westbrook family totally disagreed with that. Kevin, how do you feel about the situation?
Well, the reason the Westbrook family is going to totally disagree with it is because he's playing in Washington, and he probably won't win a championship. So, of course, they're going to disagree with it because the odds of him winning anything up there are going to be slim to none. So they're going to look at his personal stats and what he does. Westbrook is a great player. No, no player, no great player in the NBA, even if they haven't won a championship, is measured by all their championships. We still look at Charles Barkley as one of the best players that has ever played the game, and he didn't win a championship. Karl Malone, John Stockton, the list could go on and on and on. And guys that haven't won championships but have had great careers. And Russell Westbrook, it will go down as one of the top 60, 70 players to ever play the game in the NBA. And even if he doesn't win a championship, it's not going to really matter because we're going to consider him in the same light as we do all these other greats that haven't won a championship. So Stephen A. Smith needs to get over this championship thing because most of the people from his generation that we consider great ball players didn't win anything either.
That's a very good point. I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah,
Um,
it just gets on my nerves that like Patrick Ewing didn't win a championship, but guess what? He's one of the top seven centers to ever play the game of basketball.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you can't we basketball is such a hard thing to just measure somebody's career by how many championships they won because there's so many great basketball players that aren't going to win anything just because A, they get shoved on a really bad team, or two, they get shoved on really bad teams throughout their career, which is what has been in the case of Russell. Russell had the one year where they were in the NBA finals, but they were just too young and ran into too good of a team. But you can't do that. Stephen A. Smith should know better because most of the guys that he really likes hasn't won a championship.
Wow. They yeah that season they ran into a buzz. All right. Uh,
They ran they ran into one of the greatest players to ever play the game. His best year, like his best year ever. That was arguably LeBron's peak at what we say that he's the best. So yeah, they ran into him. Dwayne Wade wasn't hurt yet. Bosh was still playing. Yeah, they had guys making 7 3-pointers with one shoes for God's sake. So
the go
yeah,
the
so
goat.
that yeah they ran in. They got a bad draw that year.
Let me tell you, I was there that year. Um, I've never seen an arena rock like that. It was the most amazing experience being down there. And the first game I went to down there was a game that Westbrook had like 42 or 43 points. So
Yeah,
my crew's looking at me because they're like, they know I'm a Westbrook fan, but then of course I'm a Heat fan, so they're looking at me the whole night, like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be okay," because that game in particular, the Thunder got out to a great lead, and Miami came back and won. But that was a scary night for me because I wanted Russ to play well, and he did. But the Heat came away with the win, which is more important at that time.
The bad part about me to Russ, and I like Russ, I'm there with you, but he's been more consistent lately, but he was way inconsistent early in his career. And then through the middle of his career, he just wasn't that consistent guy that you knew was going to do things. I didn't see that consistency from him until the year Durant went down. When
Right.
Durant went down and then Russell just went completely nuts, finally was able to be the leader of his team, and he showed what he could do then. Then he's been really consistent. Some injuries have gotten him along the way and such like that. But yeah, Stephen A. Smith just needs to know when to shut up and let stuff go. The man had 21 assists in a game with also scoring that many points. You know how
Yeah.
difficult it is to do one or the other and not do both in the same game? Yeah, come on, dude. That's ridiculous. I haven't seen a lot of people do what he did in a ball game, and that was insane. Just give him the props and let it go.
Yeah, his 21 assists, let's say if the team was only shooting 2 pointers, his 21 assists accounted for 42 points. On top of his
Exactly.
30 on top of his 35, that's a total of 77 offensive points that Russell Westbrook directly contributed to. I don't remember his rebound total, but I believe it was like 15 or 17 somewhere there.
It was
So
insane.
he had a monster video game performance. I do know as well as you, of course, because we're old heads. There's a certain select amount of players from each generation that never wins a championship.
Hmm.
Westbrook's chapter isn't complete yet. His book isn't complete yet. So could he still get one in the future as a role player or whatnot? Yes, he can. But like you said, there's tons of great players whose career isn't defined by that.
Exactly.
You can even Stockton, Malone, Reggie Miller, players of that caliber. Um,
Patrick, freaking Charles Barkley. My lord, you can run into all these. Any guy that played in the Jordan era that was great. There you go.
right, right, and,
There
and
you
and
go. All
also
the great players that were in that Jordan era. If it wasn't for Jordan retiring, we maybe Hakeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler wouldn't have one. So you got to
that
look
that
at this, man. All these guys ran into Michael Jordan.
mhm.
So people, and nowadays people are running into super team. So you yeah, unless you're on one of those super teams, chances are you're not going to get a championship now, but you can still be a great player in this league.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Also, I want to say, the late great Elgin Baylor, who we just lost within the past week, he
Yep.
never won a championship as well. And the funny story about him is that he actually retired the season the Lakers won the
Yeah, the Lakers
championship.
won the championship. Yep. He retired that year. Yeah.
Good, my God, right?
Talk about great timing. Talk
Yeah,
about, hey, can I unretire and just sit on the bench?
that close, my man, that close.
Oh,
Well, well, Westbrook and Stephen A. Smith wasn't the only drama that we had this week. We also had some drama between Michael Rapaport and Kevin Durant. Did you see
two
those
big old
DMs?
dummies. Two big old dummies. Oh my lord.
So we have to unpack this. We really have to unpack this. How do you feel about Michael Rapaport first releasing the DMs from Kevin Durant?
One, they're called direct messages for a reason. They're not supposed to get released to the public. It's a conversation between you and the other person. Keep it to yourself.
Hmm.
But you releasing them, man, show some pettiness, Michael. What? Nobody's mentioned your name in what 4.5 years. So now all of a sudden you need to release this so people can start mentioning your name again. Oh God, I hate that dude.
Yeah, I didn't like the. Okay, let me say it this way. I understood Kevin Durant's message. I just didn't like the delivery of the message. But yeah, Michael Rapaport is a cloud chaser. He's always in something. So Durant was right when he hit on that. But I do feel like the DM should not have been released. This could have been taken care of in a completely different way. And Rapaport's excuse of, well, he brought my wife into it, so that's why it escalated. No, you still can be a man and handle it in a manly way and not the pussy way and release the DM. So and then his apology where he was like he didn't want it to go this far that he dropped a few nights ago was weak. So I lost a lot of respect from Michael Rappaport. I mean, Kevin Durant is what he is. We know he got a little puss in him too, but
Yeah,
I
Kevin
lost.
Durant is exactly what he is in the new Space Jam 2 trailer. He's a snake.
Look, Bryce absolutely hates Kevin Durant. I wish I could have had him on this morning as well, so he could go in on it because he calls Kevin Durant the greatest role player in the history of the NBA.
I think Kevin Durant is a don't get me wrong. I think Kevin Durant is a great ball player because there's not people that size that can score the way he can. So
Hmm.
I think he's a phenomenal role player. I just think when LeBron started chasing everything, it opened the door up for every other great basketball player to just start chasing everything as well. And that's what they did. It's a monkey see, monkey do league.
Okay.
So when one guy starts doing it, the other greats are going to start doing it. And yeah, it turns them into role players because hey, you're going to somebody's team to where you're the second guy or the third guy, or you're just trying to go and be like, hey, this is my team now. No, that ain't the way it's going to go. So he left there, goes to Golden State, where yeah, you turned into the second, third, or third option. Although you played very great in those NBA Finals, won NBA Finals MVP, but still, dude, if you didn't go there, you're not winning nothing. You'd just be one of those other guys we're talking about that had a great career but didn't win a championship because he was running into other people. But it's a monkey see, monkey do league. LeBron started it. Everybody else has just hopped on the bandwagon, and now this is what we get. But
Yeah.
I don't think of him as a great role player. I think he's a great player. He's
Mhm.
just he's going everywhere that has turned him into well, this is his role now. His role is to just go to these teams and see if he can win a championship with them.
Got it. We'll see what happens with the Brooklyn Nets. I kind of have my thoughts on that, but
Oh, I think they're going to implode.
oh yeah.
I just one too many Chiefs, not enough Indians, and even the Chiefs that they got don't know how to run their trap.
Hmm.
So I don't think that, especially given it to a first year coach who's like, well, okay, what do I do with all this? Yeah, you go in now. Okay, yeah, go ahead. What I do I got my three all stars in the game right now, or do I only have two? It's just a pain. I uh, I don't think it's going to work out for them. And I know there's not enough balls to go around, but it's yeah, whatever. Let them deal with it.
One thing about the Brooklyn Nets that I think is a blessing in disguise for them is the fact that a lot of their key guys have been out of the lineup, so they haven't had the collective for a duration of the season. So they haven't had
Exactly.
that ball dominant situation just yet. But when all those guys are healthy, that's when they're going to implode because then they
Yeah,
have to figure it out on the fly.
the bad part is you're going to have to figure it out probably in the playoffs.
Hmm.
And it'll be okay when you play in the first couple of rounds when you're playing some of the lower seeded teams. But when you start running into those teams who have been cohesive units and have gotten everybody into the games and gotten them going, man, you're going to be screwed. You better hope Durant just starts scoring and Harden can just score because that's the only way you're going to beat them because your defense is going to be way off.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Even though most of the people on your team don't play defense anyway. So
They don't. You're correct with that. Of looking up something.
If Kyrie Irving and James Harden are going to be your two guards, and the other team has two very strong guards, you're screwed
Hmm.
because neither one of them are going to be able to guard people. You're going to score a lot.
Definitely.
You ain't going to be able to guard nobody.
Looking at the standings real quick, Brooklyn is still they're tied for second right now with Philly. So Philly has the tiebreak over them. Milwaukee's third, Charlotte's fourth, and then Miami's fifth. Atlanta's sixth. So those are your top six teams in the Eastern Conference. Now, something just happened with Charlotte where Gordon Hayward sprained his right foot and he's going to be out for 4 weeks. How big
Oof.
is that for the other teams in the Eastern Conference? And let me say at least 4 weeks because we know Gordon Hayward is hella injury prone. So
Yeah, but when they say 4 weeks for Gordon Hayward, it's like, okay, we're going to go 2 to 3 months with you, Gordon.
right,
Just,
right,
just stay there because we don't want you walking down a step and then hitting it again and then you go down for another 3 months.
right.
Uh, but it's huge. Charlotte was playing. Charlotte was playing really well, especially with the additions of Hayward and such. They were playing really well. So that'll limit the amount that Charlotte will be able to go up. They'll probably go down more than they go up. So it's a big deal. It is definitely a big deal for the Eastern Conference teams.
Yeah, I can see Miami or Atlanta moving into that fourth spot with Charlotte perhaps dropping out of the playoffs because the East is still so tight. So for the play-in tournament, positions 7 through 8, I'm sorry, 7 through 10, you have the Knicks, the Celtics, the Pacers, and Chicago. So that's going to be one hell of a play-in tournament with
Chicago,
those teams.
Chicago. When they get everything figured out on their end, that's going to be dangerous
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
Chicago's just got to get their guys implemented in. Once they get Vooch implemented in very well, and I'm not looking forward to anybody playing Chicago,
Right.
especially us. They got damn Vooch now, who we all know what happens
We
when
don't
that
have to
guy
worry
sees a
about
Heat.
Vooch right now.
When that guy, if we play him in the playoffs, though, and that guy sees a Heat jersey, we all know what happens. Getting tired of going to these games and that man scoring 35 points.
We do not have to worry about Vooch right now. That is in the past. But speaking of
He
Vooch,
can't
his
miss.
old
He
team.
can't miss. Oh God, I hate him, but I love him. But I,
Look, speaking of Vooch, I think his old team got the wrong memo at the beginning of the week because apparently the Magic won. They had a mini 2 game winning streak before they had the brakes beat off them last night, and I was a little concerned. I'm like, wait, they blew up the team. They're supposed to be losing right now, not winning.
somebody looked at the coach and just did the eyeball point, where you point to your eyeballs and you point back at him, and then and then they had the Master P chain on with the tank on it, and then they
Dude,
pointed at the tank and they were like, here, this is where we're going. So
yeah.
I think the Heat are going to become no limit soldiers here at the end and go for the tank.
Yeah, they need to. They need to with this reset because, like I said, when they won those 2 games, even though the Clippers were injured, and I forgot who else they beat, and I was like, wow, the Magic are really trying to look good right now. It's like, no, don't do it, don't do it. Uh,
And here's the good thing though that the Magic fans can take from this. Some of the guys they have pulled in have actually looked really well.
oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
just it's just a matter of if you're going to be able to keep these guys and keep them and tell them, hey, we'll pay you to stay in Orlando and be a part of the rebuild. That's going to be the
Mhm.
key thing. Key thing is that and not drafting a forward in the draft.
You know they love their forwards though.
My God, they drafted, what was it, 4 years in a row or
Yeah,
5 years in a row? They drafted a forward, and three of them were hurt.
yeah. They love their forwards.
God, so many forwards.
Oh man. Kevin, let me ask you this question because we've been podcasting and we haven't addressed this. Me or you, nor me or Bryce. Who do you think is going to be the MVP this year?
Oh man, it's tough because it's one of those, it's one of those weird years with everything that's still been going on. Um, it's just hard to say. Um, like I think if Jimmy Butler didn't miss as many games as he did during that one stretch,
Hmm.
and he came back and he has played the way that he has, I would consider him a big MVP candidate. And that right there is the definition of MVP. Look how bad your team was without you,
Yeah.
or look how tough it was for them to go without you. And as soon as you come back, you go on a 7-game winning streak. Like that right there is what I tell people. Definition of MVP is. It's not who's the best player in the league, because we all know who the best players in the league are. It's who's the player that is most important to their team's success. That is who the MVP should be. And if a particular team is doing well and a particular team has come out of nowhere and one guy is steamrolling it and heading up the thing, that's the guy who's your MVP. How do you think
Mhm.
Steve Nash won all them times in Phoenix? Because without Steve Nash on them Phoenix teams, they would have sucked.
Yeah.
And like Giannis, the Bucks without Giannis, what would have happened? He's won it, what, 2 years in a row?
Hmm.
Take him off of the Bucks, you see what happened in the playoffs.
Oh, they'll
It,
get
it, it
destroyed.
yeah, the definition of MVP is not the best player in the league. It's the best player. It's the guy that literally takes his team to a level that they wouldn't be without him. And right now there's a bunch of good candidates out there for it. But me personally, I'd say Jimmy Butler.
I would actually say, of course, I'm not going to disagree with anything that has to do with the Heat, but I would
Of course.
actually say for my dark horse pick, Chris Paul and Phoenix.
Yes,
They,
he's done an amazing job for them.
yeah, they are currently number two in the Western Conference, and they're 3 games behind Utah for the number one spot.
And
And Utah, hmm,
we've seen their potential in the bubble.
yeah, when they won those
We've
8 straight
seen
games. Yeah.
we seen the potential of the Phoenix Suns in that bubble. All they needed was that one veteran guy to come in, be that leader, slow them down, and let the young guys go to work, but actually be the conductor per
Right.
se of the team. And that's what I'm talking about right there. Chris Paul's not on that team. How good do they do without him? Because we saw what they could do last year, and that was in the
Hmm.
bubble. But how well would they be doing without Chris Paul right now? So he is. I agree with that. He is under the radar look for MVP.
Look at this now. If the playoffs started today, Phoenix would go against the Dallas Mavericks in the first round. My God.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
Isn't that gorgeous basketball?
Love
Chris Paul and Luca going at it for at least 6 games, probably. Maybe that might
it.
go 7. I don't know.
It'll go.
Dallas, yeah, Dallas might be able to push that to 7. Whew, Lord, that'll be a good series. And then Portland and the Clippers will be a first round matchup. That's dangerous for the
Oh,
Clippers.
here we go again.
And then you
What,
know what?
what makes everything dangerous for the Clippers is you all these guys take all this rest and take all this time off and everything like that, and then it's like I told you with those other teams. Once you come into the playoffs, you haven't played together a lot. So
Right, right.
everything throws off, and you're trying to figure it all up at the best time. Where I think Paul George and stuff will come back before the season ends, just so they can get a little groove before they get into the playoffs.
Hmm.
It's dangerous. Just look at what happened to the Clippers last year.
Yeah, the Lakers would see Denver in the first round.
Get out of there,
That,
Lakers.
that's a tough series too. Goodness.
Just, dude, I'm telling you, the Lakers. What did I tell y'all last year? And anytime the Lakers will go as far as Anthony Davis will take them.
Hmm.
He has to come back. He has to get in the groove, and he has to play well, or they are screwed. Because right now they look like, what was it, the 2013 or 14 Pistons?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to do it, and they're not going. And now that all these Western Conference teams have been playing together, they've got their groove, they're playing well, and you have no answers for the guys on the other side of the ball. Man, it's going to be. Oh,
It's
I
going to
don't
be
think they're
tough.
going to repeat. Yeah, no, I don't think they're going to repeat. The West is went insane.
In the Eastern Conference, there's only really one potential playoff matchup that stands out right now, and that's a potential first round matchup between Brooklyn and New York. May the basketball gods please give us that. Please. Please. That city would go insane.
It'd implode upon itself.
Oh my God, give me that, and give me 6 games of it too.
Oh yeah, let them beat the punk out of each other.
Dude, there's going to be a lot of crimes committed. A lot of.
Because we all know who one of my most hated teams like ever is. And it's the Knicks. I can't
Right.
stand the Knicks. So anytime somebody can go and beat the Knicks or whatever, go and do it. I don't even care who they're playing because I can't stand them. Like I cannot stand the Knicks.
Is it more the team or more the fans?
It well the team is worth so much money just because they own a network. It's
Right.
not what they've done on the court because they haven't done nothing on the court in 20 years. But for some reason, their fans and their ownership, they still think like they have done something and they are somebody. No, you're not. You haven't won anything. You haven't won anything. And when was the last time you won a championship?
It was like 70,
1970s?
72 or 73.
I wasn't even born yet. So you're looking at almost 50 years of bupkis. And yet you think you're entitled, one, to get every single player who goes into free agency. Two, you think just because you play in Madison Square Garden that makes a difference. Newsflash, Knicks fans, majority of the teams, when they go into Madison Square Garden, guess what? They have more fans in it than the Knicks do. So please stop with this stupid entitlement that y'all are better than everybody else just because you're the richest franchise in sports. I don't care. You suck.
I'm okay with the team. It's just some of the fans are a bit annoying, and I've said this
No,
before.
because no, I'm not okay with the team because the idiots are having some of their legends kicked out of freaking the Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, yeah.
Charles
Did you
Oakley can't go to Madison Square Garden because he said something bad about you. Boo hoo hoo.
look?
You
Did you
have
see the
Patrick Ewing.
that
Patrick
was
Ewing, the coach of the Georgetown Hoyas and arguably the face of the New York Knicks franchise. And people going, who are you? I'd have
yeah,
went up to the picture that's on the side of the wall and said, that's me. Oh
the
my God, entitled, spoiled asshats.
the disrespect of Ewing and Oakley. Yeah, that's inexcusable. And actually, last week,
They've run the
the
franchise into the ground. Nolan don't give a crap. Nolan cares about that almighty dollar. He don't give a crap
they
about what's
kicked
going on the court. He don't care. He does not care.
they kicked a fan out last week because he had a Ban Dolan shirt, and they kicked him out.
See?
But that ticket was worth it because I salute that kid.
Oh,
Congratulations to you.
I would have done it too. I would have
Oh
done
yeah,
it too.
oh yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why I'm happy. I'm a fan of a team that has good management, good ownership from the top all the way down to the bottom. That's why I'm glad to be a fan of that type of team.
Yeah.
Not a fan of a team that goes, "Hey, this isn't working. Let's just get rid of everybody." Or,
I,
"Hey,
I,
this isn't working, but we still think we're better than everybody else. So let's keep everybody."
look, I will say we're truly blessed to be fans of the team that we like. So because
I
a
have
lot of
been blessed in every sport except football.
with your Jaguars.
That is what. Well, since 1995 football. So I've been blessed. I have been blessed because before we got the Jaguars here as a Cowboy fan, because we had family that lived in Dallas and Emmett Smith went there. So
Hmm.
before then I was fine. I was a Cowboys fan. But then when
Hmm.
I've switched to the Jaguars, the Cowboys started sucking, and the Jaguars they had their ups and downs and did pretty well. But now, oh my God, pray for me.
Hey, Hey, you know I was a fan of the Washington football team, so
See,
I'm
now
kind
you're
of
looking for a new team.
I'm a free agent. Yeah, I'm a free agent now.
See, now you're looking for a new team. Well, here's your chance. You can come join the Jaguars now that they're starting over.
I
Now we
made
have
a
Trevor. Now we have Trevor Lawrence, Urban Meyer. See, he can start right over, and it's a Florida team, so you don't have to. There you go.
look. I made a promise to myself that if they ever changed the name, I would go to the Cowboys. So I tried to do that, and then my
Oh God,
father-in-law.
no, that'll hurt your soul. If you were Washington and you tried to switch to the Cowboys, that'll hurt your soul. I know.
Dude, my father-in-law was like, no, because he's Dallas. He's like, no, you're not a Cowboys fan. I'm like, I made a promise to myself.
No, don't. And here you go. Don't go to them because they're just as Washington went further than Dallas did last year.
I know, right?
Exactly.
Dude,
Exactly. So I no. If you're going to switch, switch to something that's unexpected. That's what I always say.
we'll see. I'm definitely gonna switch, so we'll see. So that's
If you're going to switch to something where people go, them really, and you're like, yeah, and then when they succeed, you could be like, see, I was a fan.
yeah. We'll see. I still got time to make up my mind. So we're gonna wrap up this
No,
episode
you have to have
of
it done. You have to have it done before the draft.
when is the draft? The draft's in June, right?
No,
No,
the
it's
draft
in
is
May.
the end of this month.
End of this month. I'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yep. So you have to have it figured out by then.
I will figure it out, and I'll make a big announcement on my Facebook page with my 5 friends.
Yep. And yeah. And, you do, and we know you don't do any football research, so we ain't got to worry about that. So.
No, I don't. I can't. I'm sorry. I used to when I
No.
was a kid, but nah,
Drew Brees,
strictly NBA.
Drew Brees, every year, fantasy football, even if he ain't playing.
That's right.
Okay.
Hey, I haven't drafted Drew Brees in like 3 years for the record. Just saying.
It was two.
Two? It's been 2 years.
It was two. No, the year before last, you did drafting,
Did I? I have.
and he
I gotta
got
look it
hurt.
up.
Yeah, he because that was the year he got hurt, and you had to drop him.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that
okay.
was the year he got hurt, and you had to drop him, and you were terrible, and that's when me and you made those secret trades that no one knew about.
Yeah. So
That's when I was
that.
like, hey, can give me him
Yeah, you
and
want them
give
with
me
good
him,
players.
and I'll give you him, and I'm going to win this thing. And sure enough,
I'm gonna do
yeah, they
that
didn't know
next
that.
year.
They don't know
Yeah,
that though.
I gotta do that next year. Look, don't give anybody ideas for my fantasy basketball league because I'm running through that league. So, dude, I've been the
Uh,
champ.
See, I can't play fantasy basketball. It just takes too much time.
Hmm.
Like I'll have people in the lineup. I'm like, he ain't playing tonight. Well, damn. And don't draft like any Laker player, Knicks player, Clipper player, because you never know when they're gonna play.
When they gonna play? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you never know what rest day is. What rest day? And I'm like, dang it, no. Just take Donovan Mitchell, uh, the big dude from Denver. Uh,
yeah.
take yeah, just take guys that you know are young and are going to play.
Let me tell you, I've won 3 of the last 4 years in fantasy. So, and I'm trending. 3 of the last 4 years, 2 years back to back, and right now I've only lost like 2 weeks this season. But it's a tighter season. There's like a guy that's like 3 games below me, so we'll see what happens. And
Yeah,
Bryce is
because
always. Hmm?
but Bryce probably always takes Kevin Durant and all them guys who are always hurt.
Bryce is lurking. Bryce is actually a pretty good fantasy player, and the 1 year in this streak that I didn't win, he actually won. So we've kind of
See,
jousted a little bit in finals.
I do good. I do good when it comes to waiver wire stuff.
Hmm.
If I'm actually watching and paying attention a lot, like y'all
Hmm.
remember my old saying, I don't start watching basketball until Christmas,
For Christmas, yeah.
and then I really don't start watching basketball until right before the playoffs start. So really, I pay attention, see what my team's doing, making sure they're doing okay, making sure people aren't injured, seeing what trades they do, blah blah blah. That's such a thing. But I really get invested in it when it's time to get down in the nitty gritty. It's like baseball. I don't watch
Right.
baseball until the end of the year. Because guess what? We already know what teams are going to be in it because
Hmm.
usually it stays consistent. So I'm not even going to pay attention until damn sure the end of the year, or at least All-Star break. But see, my NBA rule was all thrown off this year because they started at freaking Christmas.
It started late.
I was like, oh, they're starting on Christmas. Why can't we get this every year? Which I think that the NBA is going to change a lot just
Yeah,
based off
that's
of stuff. I think to me, all the games they play is unnecessary, especially when you see how many guys sit out, injuries, and all this stuff. To me, 82 games is unnecessary because we all know going into the season who's probably going to be where, when, why, and how.
right.
So if you start it around Christmas time every year, that gives everything pretty much the flow through it. Football's closing down, and on Christmas, you have all the attention on you to have that day to start your season off. And that's why I like when I can go and watch it on Christmas. I was like, we've already may have played 10 games, but damn it, Christmas is where my season starts.
You know,
I just think, I just think, I know the TV deals and everything, but if you're doing these playoff series and if you're doing these playing games and all that stuff, TV will make its way back around. You don't need 82 games because most of the damn games ain't on TV anyway.
well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If they were to cut the games back, some of the players technically would lose some money. Um, so I
No,
don't
they
even
won't
know.
because they would make it up somewhere else. The thing we always say is players will lose out on money and everything like that. Then why are the contracts going so big for guys we've never heard of that can only shoot jump shots? It ain't going to hurt them. It ain't going to hurt them at all because the TV deals are going to stay the same. If anything, the TV deals are going to rise. The bad part about basketball is, though, it's losing viewers.
Yeah,
And that's the bad part. Viewership has went down. Viewership has went down on TV, but went up on a bunch of other platforms.
right, right.
Streaming has took these TV deals to a whole different level. Streaming services like what the NFL does, where they've hooked up with Yahoo and Amazon and all this stuff, they're missing out. You miss out on that TV money a little bit, which they're not going to because they're about to do like a $10 billion deal for years of having their game still on Fox. But streaming is going to become a bigger thing, and the NBA is all what everybody likes to consider this generation's game is
Well,
they're
yeah,
going to go to streaming. They're going to go to streaming a lot more, and
they're.
it's going to become where those TV deals get subsided with streaming deals, and
Mhm.
they're going to make a shit ton of money no matter what.
Yeah, they're on Twitter now as far as the streaming. Twitter and I believe YouTube. If you do the YouTube live subscription, I believe that's where the NBA is at right now as far as
Pretty
streaming.
soon,
So,
pretty soon, Amazon's going to get a hold of one of the big sports,
hmm.
and they're going to have it specifically where you can watch that sport on Amazon. You can get any game, and they'll deliver them to your house.
It would make sense for Amazon to get into that game because everyone has Amazon Prime. So yeah, that would make sense.
And what they'll do is they'll put it on Amazon Prime, and then you'll pay $15, $16 a month to get just your games. Like if
Right,
only you wanted one team's games, pay $15 a month to get all their games.
right.
It would make sense. And
Uh,
they're going to go away. It's going to slowly draw away from the TV because as you can tell, the bad part is we say it doesn't matter, but the political stuff and everything like that, it starts killing stuff. And
mhm.
people stop watching because people are of a certain way and say certain things and everything like that. When really it shouldn't matter, but we all know it does. And that's why I just think that people are going to start looking for different things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do have one announcement before we end this week's episode.
Well, the
I know.
McRib is not back, so I know that part of it.
You and Cortez started Balls in Our Court about 4 or 5 years ago, and I know you guys are on every
Oh,
single
no,
streaming.
4 or 5. We're going into like year 7.
Oh Jesus, has it been that long? Good Lord.
Yes, yes.
No, in those 7 years, the Balls in Our Court has touched every streaming platform for podcasting imaginable. So it's a great job from yourself and from Cortez. And the announcement that I have right now is that the Hardwood Nation is actually on Spotify right now.
There you
And by
go.
and by the end of the week, we should be on iTunes as well. So
There you go.
that's our big announcement for the week.
Now you gotta
We
get
hope.
Google Play because not all of us have this iTunes crap.
Well, look. That's why we're on
Even
Spotify. So
but I think Google Play went away anyway. So yeah,
well, it's
I got Spotify. So
yeah, I'll look into that. So yeah, we're definitely on Spotify, and like I said, right now we're working on iTunes. Um, I know we use some explicit language sometimes, so as long as we pass their rules, we should
all you
be
gotta
okay at that.
all you gotta put that little E next to it. Damn it. Oh,
So that's gonna be it for this week's episode of the Flagrant 2 podcast. Thank you so much, Kevin,
oh, you're welcome.
for filling in for Bryce. And Bryce, you get well, my man.
Yeah, you stay sick for another week or two. It's okay. I got it.
Kevin, I'll hold it down. Thank you,
I
sir.
got it. You're welcome.